Hey my sweet crafty friends, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made this fall farmhouse wreath, this little acorn, and how you can take an old pumpkin that you've had for a while and give it a fresh new life. So if you want to see how I created all three of these, keep watching. So the first thing I'm going to do is take these two grapevine wreaths that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut off all the jute string that's wrapped around them because I want to kind of fluff them up just a bit, and then I'm going to add these two together to make it bigger and fuller. So once I get them fluffed and just the way I want them, I'm going to go back in and take some jute string and just tie it around in random places. Like I said, I don't want it to be really tight like it was in the beginning. I want it to be kind of looser and fuller. So now I'm going to take these sunflowers that we used at our wedding, and I'm just going to figure out my placement and where I want them to go, and then I'm just going to hot glue them down. You definitely got to give these a little bit of pressure, just while the glue's drying, because they don't want to stick really good to the wreath form. So yeah, you just kind of hold them down just a little bit and make sure they're good and dry, or they will pop back up, and that's no good for real. So now that I got a few flowers in place, I'm going to take this, I don't know what kind of greenery this is, but I got it from Dollar General back in the spring, and I had used it in a previous DIY, but I thought, oh my goodness, this will look so good with the theme that I'm going with for fall this year. So yeah, I'm just going to place those in just to see where I want them and just kind of move them around, and that's the thing, you just got to kind of figure out what you want and just play around with it. I'm also going to take some of this boxwood that we used at Sierra and Mike's wedding. It was one of those garlands that we got from Hobby Lobby, which we got at the time for 50% off, and these were just pieces that we had cut off and used on her tablescape. So I'm just going to randomly place those and fill in my wreath. Now that I got my wreath all filled in the way I want it, I'm going to take these little pumpkins that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm also going to take some of these pine cones that we got on 90% clearance at Dollar General at Christmas last year. So I'm basically just using stuff that's in my stash, stuff that I already had, except for the pumpkins I had just bought. And I've had the wreath forms for a few months now. So a lot of this is trial and error, you know, just kind of, like I said, just playing around with the placement and everything. And even after I got done with this wreath, I actually went back and moved some things around. That was a little struggle, but I got it to where I really loved the way it looked. And here's how she turned out after I finally got everything the way I wanted it. I went ahead and moved took a sunflower off, moved it around a little bit, added some more pumpkins, and kind of just, you know, spaced out things where it just looked nicer. I don't know, I'm OCD, so I look at stuff like that. Let me know in the comments if y'all do that too. Are y'all OCD and just have to have everything to perfection? So now I'm going to take this pumpkin that I've had, that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to use some of this yellow paint that I've had for a little bit. I never really had a use for it, but I figured, okay, I can make like a mustard color paint and paint my pumpkin. Now it had this big blob that just squirted out. You'll see me pick it up here in a minute with this stick, and I was like, wow, maybe it's because I've had this paint for a little while. But I went ahead and took it, got all the clumps out, or tried to, and then I'm going to take some burnt umber paint that I had got from my daughter from Christmas last year. I cannot talk. And just kind of mix it in until I get the mustard color that I'm looking for. I basically wanted to give one of my pumpkins some yellow just to kind of match with the sunflower theme this year. So I basically just kept adding some more yellow in there because I wanted it to be not so brown, and I actually put too much brown in it to begin with, so I had to go back and add more yellow. Good news is I've used almost that whole bottle of yellow paint, and but I put it in this little taco casa bowl so I could put the lid on it and save it for later in case I decide I want to paint something else this color. It's already mixed up and ready to go. So here I'm just taking the stem off of it, and now I'm going to give it a couple of coats of this mustard color. At first I was trying my best not to get any of the yellow paint on the stem, but then I decided it doesn't matter because I'm going to go back anyway and paint that with that burnt umber color, and then I just go over it with some white wax from Waverly just to kind of soften it up some. And I know I said that I got this pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, but I actually got this from the Target dollar spot a couple of years ago. So yeah, I just decided to take it and give it a fresh new coat of paint because it had a few little scratches on it and stuff from being in my storage bin. And plus, you know, I wanted to add some bright colors throughout my neutral decor that I usually have. So here I'm just taking some antique wax and I'm going in those crevices around the pumpkin just to give it a little more texture and dimension. And then I'm going to go back over that with the mustard color, just kind of blend it in a little bit better. And then once I get done with all that, I'm going to go back in and add the original leaf and stuff back to it. And I'm just going to curl the wire around a pencil so it gives it some little tendrils. But here she is. She looks so pretty. I love the dimension on her. But you know, if I ever get tired of this color, I can always go back and paint it a different color. That's the good thing about DIYing. So for our third DIY, I'm going to take this rope that I got from the Dollar Tree. I've had it in my stash for a little bit now. And this old foam pumpkin that I got at Dollar Tree last year. I had did some painting on it last year, like a sage color. And then I just kind of tried to get that paint off as best as I could. And but I am going to cut this rope down a little bit because I am going to untwist the 3 strands, and we're going to use the rope like that. And the reason why I cut it down like that is because untwisting a really long piece of rope is a chore in itself. So I just decided to make it just a little bit easier and just cut it down some. So once I get my rope all untwisted and everything, I'm going to start gluing it around the pumpkin. So I just glued it around the bottom edge, and then I just started wrapping it around, pushing it down as I go, just so there's no little gaps in between the ropes. And then I glue it on the end, and then where it meets, I start a new piece of rope. And I just keep wrapping and gluing until I get my pumpkin all the way wrapped. So here I'm trying to go up because I want to give this more of an acorn shape. Yes, if you haven't guessed yet, well, you've seen it in the thumbnail, we're making a little acorn. We're taking this old pumpkin that was just no good no more, and we're giving it a new life and making it into something so cute and so perfect for fall. So if I had to do it all over, I would wrap my bottom of my pumpkin with the rope first instead of doing it like this, because you'll see in just a minute where I start going in and putting rope down inside to build that bottom up. If I would have done that first, then I would have got more of the shape that I wanted. So as it is, I had to go back and add more rope just to kind of even out that shape. So here's where I start trying to glue that rope down inside that. It's so funny watching this. It was terrible, I'm telling you. So if you do recreate this, just make sure you do that part first, because it was kind of hard getting that glue down in there and then getting the rope on it and all that. But in the end, I love the way it turned out, and I think it is just so cute. So once I finally got that part of it done, I went ahead and decided to go ahead and make the top of my acorn. I'm using the nautical rope that is, the full nautical rope, the thickness of it. And I'm just going to wrap that around the top and glue it in place. And I keep having issues here. I'm using a lot of hot glue, so I have to keep grabbing glue sticks. I probably need to invest in like a bigger glue gun and one that takes really long sticks, because I used a lot of hot glue during this whole crafting video. So once I finally get this all wrapped up, I just take my little stem that was in my pumpkin to begin with, and I just glue that on top. And it's like it's perfect. That stem is perfect for this little project. So what I don't show here is that I actually went back and added some more string onto the bottom of this just to kind of even it out some more. Here I'm just taking my lighter and just burning off those little scraggly hairs that are on the rope. So for the final finishing touches, I'm going to take my antique wax and I am just going to go over the little cap that I made with the nautical rope, and I'm just going to darken that up some just so it gives it some more dimension and it looks more like an acorn. And if you look here, you can see that my acorn looks a lot more fuller. That's because I went and added some more rope, like I said, all the way around it just to kind of even everything out. I did run out of nautical rope before I got to the very bottom, so I just used some jute string that I had that was kind of the same thickness, just to kind of give it a finished look. And look how much better it already looks, just adding that antique wax to the top of the cap, just to, you know, bring out that texture and to make it really look like an acorn. Here she is, guys. I love the way all three of these projects turned out. I hope you do too. And if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And I will see y'all in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.